We've all seen TV shows, movies, video games, but one show where I felt this hits differently is Regular Show. One of my favorites to watch because of its fun, wacky, zany adventures. Rigby is one of my favorite characters because of how much he has changed from the start to the end of the series. Going from a slacker with low self-esteem to the end being someone to truly love himself and acknowledge how much he had grown. In the beginning of Regular Show, it portrays him as a lazy worker with his best friend, Mordecai. During the first couple seasons, we see Rigby as a selfish person who does what he wants, messes things up, and blames things for his own mistakes. He's childish and doesn't really like to acknowledge his own faults. In season 5, Rigby in the sky with Burrito. He gets a mail from a high school reunion. He realizes he hasn't really done anything important since he dropped out of high school and tries to do something, exciting, something cool where he won't really be seen as a loser. He decides to go skydiving while eating a burrito to show his self-worth. Ultimately, at the end of the episode, he is able to do that, but finds out that it's not really his high school reunion, but for Pops. This act from Rigby kind of demonstrates the lack of self-worth, as he wants to prove to others who may not even remember him that he is special and he is worth something. While dating Eileen, he, Margaret, and Mordecai read a list about the Eileen plan. Now, Rigby, after listening to what the Eileen plan is, how that she wanted to marry a brilliant person with several patents under their belt when she was a child, with Rigby mispronouncing it as pants. He starts thinking that he's not really smart enough to be with Eileen.
You think I'm dumb?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I thought so. I was just checking.
This devastates him, in which he goes back to high school to get his diploma to show his self-worth. He never tells her about what he is doing, that he dropped out of high school because he was embarrassed and scared that she would leave him because of this fact. In the end of the series, she never really cared and just loved him for being who he was, which boosted his self-esteem. He realizes at the end of this episode of the Eileen plan that he shouldn't do things really for others, but for himself. The very last season before we get into space and everything is all zany and wacky is season 7. We see Rigby graduating high school, a big achievement to his self-esteem, as he had gone from a very low place, thinking of us very low valued, but then he goes really high up through all this achievement, boosting his self-worth and self-esteem. His efforts have improved how he perceived himself as a person. His growth as a character, after such a big feat, is something to be acknowledged.